You're listening to the Fitzrock Podcast, interviews where we explore the shifts and transitions of life. Here are your hosts, Keith Rock and Don Fitzsimmons. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. Today we are excited to have with us someone who most of you will recognize. He became famous from his rendition of She Bangs on American Idol Season 3. And he has since gone on to do some other things. But we are really excited to hear about his experience and also about where he's going. So William Hung, thank you so much for being with us and welcome to the podcast.
You're welcome. Well, it's been a very long journey since my American Idol audition back in 2004. Throughout this journey, I tried many different things besides doing entertainment and singing She Bangs. I worked for the government, the sheriff's department for 2 years, the police, the public health department for 6 years. And then in the meantime, I pursued poker. I got into stocks trading. And then, of course, I've been doing speaking as well. I always believe that speaking is part of my, identity. I wouldn't feel right if I stopped speaking, just hide myself behind the cubicle, hide behind myself, behind my room.
We'd love to go into explore all of those different things. Could you explain a little bit or tell us a little bit about your experience on American Idol and how that was?
Of course.
Going through that. How was that?
It was an amazing journey. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I started by, I took a chance by going for a talent show at school in UC Berkeley because I wasn't doing great with civil engineering, so I wanted to try something new. So one day I saw this music video from Ricky Martin's She Bangs, and then I love it. I learned every move. I tried to copy him. And then I had no expectations, but somehow I won. I won the talent show. So that's what gave me the confidence to audition for American Idol.
Who is your favorite judge?
This is a very hard question because even though Paula is nice, and I wouldn't be where I am today without Simon. Yes, Simon was the mean guy, but he also what made my audition memorable. It was like the right place at the right time, and to this day I'm still like shocked by how my audition went viral compared to everybody else because I knew I didn't have the best singing talent, but one thing I took away from this whole experience was how I feel like I could just stay positive because I see a lot of people when they don't make it to Hollywood, they get so angry and upset at the judges. And I just don't see a need for me to do that.
And I love that part of the story because basically what you're saying is even though you knew that you weren't the best singer, quote unquote, you still saw it as an experience worth pursuing.
Yeah.
And it's like, that just showing up, that going for what you want, led you to some open doors that have been amazing for you.
Yeah, true.
And that is that's an inspirational approach to life.
Yeah, I'm very grateful. And I could tell you the people that make it possible are my fans because my fans give me the positive energy and motivation. Without my fans, I wouldn't be able to overcome the negative criticism. But because of my fans, I feel like whatever I do, yes, I'm not going to please everybody. I'm still going to receive a lot of negative criticism, like things like, oh, you can't sing, you portray Asian stereotypes, quit your showbiz or whatever, right? But when I have my fans appreciating my work and what I do, I feel like my mission is to bring happiness through entertainment, and that's all it matters. It doesn't matter how I entertain, but I am entertaining my fans. I am making them happy, and I'm happy doing that too.
Back before you had fans, before you even auditioned, you had to have some kind of drive to do it. Like, where did that come from for you? I mean, it's a grueling process, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I would say I didn't think too much of it. I just wanted to try and see what happens. So I got my motivation by winning the talent show in school, and then when I heard on Fox News, like, okay, there's a local audition nearby, come on out, and that's what I did.
So after you're done with American Idol and things settle down, you went on to what kind of work? Tell us. I mean, I know it was government, but like, what kind of work did you do for government?
Sure. I worked as a statistical analyst for the sheriff's department for a couple of years, and then I transitioned to become administrative assistant for public health for about 6 years after that. And then now it's time for me to create my own life again. So I would say if I were to like characterize myself now, what I do, I would say motivational speaker, Asian hustler.
Asian Hustler. Should that be the title of the podcast? William Hung, Asian Hustler.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good match because I hustle, I do different things, many different things.
Wow, that's an incredible experience. What was it like being so that particular time, like crazy, insane, like where everywhere you went, people probably knew who you were?
I did not expect that. I just thought when the audition didn't work out in my favor, I would go home. That's the end of my journey. I'd be a normal student again, and that's it. But little did I know, I started getting fans asking me for pictures and autographs.
Wow,
That's amazing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so how long did this last for you?
Well, I would say it will probably be the rest of my life. It's not the same degree of craziness because when I first got started, I remember I had a hard time getting around without people stopping me for pictures and autographs. Now it's more a bit more manageable, but still people recognize me. It doesn't matter where I go, whether it's your local restaurant, the local poker room. People like know my face. Like even if I have my mask on, people still remember me.
And you released a record also, didn't you?
Yes, 3 albums, and the first
Three.
one, Inspiration, was the most successful one.
That is so cool. And so what has it been like? Obviously, you did the talk show circuit. You were on TV all over the place.
Yes.
You had all this fame. Did things start to slow down for you? I mean, obviously, it's not the same fever pitch that it was.
Yeah.
So what has that been like for you?
Well, I would say the first 4 years, I was living my dream life. But like you said, the entertainment career did slow down. And then I decided that maybe it's okay to go back to school, get a stable job, save in investment money, and just live a good life. So I didn't have a strong motivation to do something, to step outside my comfort zone after the first 4 years. But after working for the government for about 8 years, I feel like I can't be stuck like that for the rest of my life. I knew I needed to do something more with my story, with my message. I feel like I could make a bigger positive impact, and that's what got me into speaking, and then putting myself out there again now.
And what is your degree in, William?
I got my bachelor's in math and master's in business.
Okay. And so you left the government and
Yep.
wanted to build something new, something more impressionable.
Yeah.
And so tell us about that journey.
Yeah, so I didn't know how I was gonna get there, but I knew that I was very passionate with poker. I'm good at math. I'm good with statistics. So maybe that's something I can apply. And so I gave myself about like a 1 year timeline from 2019, and then I made it happen. I made way more money from poker compared to my regular job. So that's why I feel it was time for me to quit my job as of last year. But even that is not my final destination because I knew poker is not going to be the rest of my life. So the rest of my life, I feel like I want to help people try something new without being judged or ridiculed. That's my true mission.
So how do you do that? What kinds of things do you do to help people do that?
So I got into professional speaking. Before the pandemic, I spoke for numerous live events. And then now, after the pandemic, I put myself out there with the virtual events, podcast interviews like this one. So yeah, that's the way to put myself out there. Also, I'm more active with social media and platforms like Clubhouse. The time I spend the most with would be Toastmasters. So for listeners, they might not know, Toastmasters is like a speaking forum where you get to practice your speech, you get feedback from other people, and I love that program. I've been in it for 8 years. After I started with my government job, I feel like I needed an outlet. So yeah, so that's how I got started, and then other ways for me to put myself out there. Definitely like Instagram. That's my main focus. I hope to get into YouTube as well, but you gotta do one thing at a time.
So you obviously have this infectious like joy and personality. Have you always been able to have that through whatever you've went through?
Well, like everybody else, I'm human. I'm human as well. I have my ups and downs. I went through like two failed marriages myself throughout all these years. But what I learned from all of this is that you are where you're at in your life for a reason, and it's fine, whatever it is, right? You don't always have control over where you're at, but you have control over where you want to go in your future. Every day we can reframe that, right? So that's how I'm able to like not stay down for too long, even going through really difficult times. I even suffered COVID beginning of the year. I went down with COVID. I couldn't get up. I was having chills. I was feeling tired all day, every day for like 2 weeks. But hey, I'm grateful that I got out of that. And I think after that kind of experience and trauma, it makes me appreciate my life much more.
It would seem to me like people that go through COVID kind of have a new realization that life is precious and you never know.
Yes, I agree. I think that's how I find my renewed motivation this year.
In this country, Asian Americans lately have been kind of targeted a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering your thoughts on that. Any experiences with that? Just tell us what that's like for you.
Well, I am grateful. I'm not experiencing it right now where I live in Florida. It's not a real concern, but in California and New York, yeah, very serious concern. So I would say definitely think of everybody as equal human beings, right? We all have a right to enjoy life here in the United States. We all have a right to go out there and do what we want to do and experience the freedom without the threat of someone suddenly pushing us to the ground or something like that. so yeah, so I definitely think that it comes from in your heart, like, hey, we went through the coronavirus together. It doesn't matter where it originated from, because that's still under like debate, right? But the point is that we need to get past that. We need to think of it as like, okay, we are all in this together. We need to support each other instead of hating each other.
Have you known anybody personally who has experienced anything like that?
Well, I have some acquaintances on social media that kind of went through it, and it's really ugly, and it doesn't have to be like as drastic as the news, like some people getting killed because of this. It could be just like someone getting harassed on the train or getting spat on, and that is already like very traumatic, so. Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to experience that, and I would say that it's time for us to think about loving each other and be grateful for what we have. Because when you come from a place of loving and being grateful for where you're at, no matter what your situation is, you're not gonna have the same motivation to do that, to hate on other people.
Absolutely.
So just a curious question. You've obviously probably had the opportunity to see a lot of the United States, and obviously you probably had some Hollywood experience. Why did you decide on living in Florida? I'm just curious.
Wow. I recently shared that with one of my during one of my live streams. So originally I told people like the general answer is like, okay, I just want a new life, want a new location, all that. But the real answer was because like I had a couple of neighbors that gave me a very hard time recording my videos and cameos every single day. They would one of the neighbors would literally yell, "Shut up! Stop recording!" Yeah, because the place I stay at in the Los Angeles area had very thin walls, so everything that we say or do, like a couple of neighbors can hear it, very clearly. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I had to like go record it, like my a lot of my videos in my car until I got to move to Florida. So that was, not convenient to say the least. So that's why I decided to move to Florida. I thought about staying in LA as well because my parents told me like, hey, is there any way you could stay here? And I looked at a lot of the available places in LA for rent, and a lot of them they want quiet neighbors. And based on what I want to be doing for my business, like recording videos, doing live streams, I don't think I'm going to be a quiet neighbor for anybody.
So where did you end up in what general area in Florida?
I chose Jacksonville because I traveled there last year for a poker live stream, and then I met a really nice host, Tracy Collins, and she's really cool, really nice lady, really warm-hearted, and I like that feeling. So yeah, so that's why I remember her. I remember that place, and that's how I chose that place.
Very
So like
cool.
tell us a little bit about the poker world. You said you did a lot of, so like high stakes poker, or tell us a little bit about that world.
I don't play high stakes very often at all. I would say maybe more like medium stakes, like $2, $5 no limit level. I feel like even though I want to make a little bit of money from it, it's still more like a side hustle for me. Because I mean, everybody is different, right? You have to do what feels right in your heart. For me, I only want to play when I'm happy to play. It shouldn't be my main thing. I shouldn't be relying on that to pay my bills, for example. So yeah, so that's how I approach it, and then I play at a level where the money means something to me if I win or lose, but it's not so much that it will hurt my future.
Do you have any books in the works?
I actually put out a book called Champion by Choice a couple of years ago.
Cool. And where can we find it? Is it on Amazon or?
Yeah, Amazon.
All right. So where you want to be making your money, not from poker, but you really want to be making it from what, motivational speaking and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. One of the blessings that happened last year after I quit my job, I thought poker was gonna be okay for a while. I don't know. I mean, for a while it could be like for 3 months, 6 months, for a few years, right? But one of the blessings was someone introduced me to a platform called Cameo. So Cameo is like an app where fans can request like a short video message, and then what I end up doing is like I would sing happy birthday for people. I would sing she bangs. I would do pet talks. And then I get paid, like it could be like $20 to $30 each gig, and then somehow I done over 5,000 gigs as of last year to now, which is crazy. And so yeah, I'm glad to be able to do that because I feel like I'm making a positive impact for people.
Talk about a cool side hustle. That's a great gig, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect that. When I first started out the first few months, I only got a handful of requests here and there, but then it suddenly got a bunch, all in the same time. It just kind of naturally took off. And that's the thing about life. You never know how your life will evolve. but you want to. That's why I feel like I want to focus more on my overall mission for like bringing happiness to the world, and then figure out how I can build on that.
So if you were going to give a motivational speech to us right now, what are your points? What would you be wanting to say?
I would say always tell the truth about your life experience and how you see the world, and don't be afraid of pleasing other people. Like the way I share everything with you today. For people that's listening, like the way I approach it, I approach everything is not the norm, right? I chose to quit my job so I had more freedom to create the life I want. I don't know how that will pan out. I mean, I started with poker, I evolved into Cameo, and then now maybe I find something else to add on top of that.
It sounds like, William, like it's kind of like having a fearless attitude that helps keep you going through all this. I mean, you can't have a lot of fear and go to and try all these different things. Is that part of it?
Yeah, I would say it's also taking like smart risk, calculated risk. So one way that I approach taking risks is to ask myself, what is the worst thing that can happen if this venture or whatever I'm going for doesn't work out? And then if the consequence is not too bad, then why not just do it?
Kind of like you're kind of like the Nike symbol, just do it. Yeah, I get it. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Well, what else do you want to say to our listeners?
I would say chasing your dreams is about taking one action step at a time. Nobody knows how many steps it takes to get to your dream, but every dream worth chasing is hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. I'm not going to say it's easy because it's not. Even for me, I've taken some steps ahead, but I'm still not there yet, and that is okay. I think what I learned from all these years is that I don't need to be stuck on worrying about exactly how something will happen. Instead, if the opportunities come to me, say like cameos or other projects, if it aligns with your mission and your values, go for it. Say yes, and that's how you can take that next step. And eventually, when you take enough of those steps, that's how you can create your dream life.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest barriers you feel like you've had to overcome?
One of my biggest barriers is that I'm constantly worried about money. I'm constantly worried about I work so hard, therefore I deserve more. And that's a self-limiting belief. Because I realized that many people work hard. You see them putting out content every single day on the social media or YouTube or whatever. So does that mean that person should get rich? Get like 10 million views or 10 million fans? No, that's not how it works. So maybe put that aside and just focus more on changing lives one person at a time.
Any other barriers?
Those I think those are the main ones, and then in terms of changing the life that you have now, of course we all have to make a living. So that's why it's always going to be a challenge in terms of finding the right place between okay, I need to make money or I need to make my dream come true. So you have to find a balance. So that is the main barrier that I went through myself. What I would say is that you don't have to just suddenly quit your job tomorrow, okay? If you have a job, don't do that. Don't listen to those people on the social media telling you to quit your job tomorrow. Instead, just take your time, but still set aside time to make your dreams come true. I have friends in my network that put out a couple hours a day. Just treat it like a side hustle, and then eventually you'll get there.
That's kind of like your whole thing about changing your life. Just all the things you talked about are kind of un-Hollywood-like, right? I mean, so how did you come to that? How did you come to that as your mission? Because and even a mission is not really Hollywood-like. How did you come to that?
That is very true. I feel in the social media, one of my pet peeves is that people usually only highlight the best moments. You know, the people driving the Lamborghinis or having those fancy mansions. It's like, hey, it's great to have that vision, but most of the people are not there yet, including myself, and that's okay. So that's why I feel like it's better to come from a place of being authentic and keeping it real.
But how did you, I mean, like, how did you come up with the thing about, I mean, just the mission statement? I mean, that's like, it's unusual. Many motivational speakers have it, but like, how did you find a way to come up with this whole mission thing? How did you create that?
Wow. I have to thank a mentor of mine. Her name is Jacqueline Peterson from Joyful Living Mindset. We worked together for over 6 months. And I connected with her through a group coaching program. And she really helped me a lot. And I'm proud to call her my mentor because out of all the coaches and mentors I work with, she was the only one that gives me the freedom to explore, right? Because other coaches, they tell you, okay, you should capitalize on your brand. You should be speaking all day, every day about resilience. I mean, I think those things, those are reasonable suggestions as well, but it's not, that doesn't really match what the way I want to approach everything, right? I don't want to just speak all day every day, every single hour I'm on like Zoom or Clubhouse. Not like that. Even if I were to get paid a lot of money, I wouldn't enjoy like doing that all day every day just by only doing that, right? I want to have a variety of things going for me. So yeah, so I think she really helped me like put everything together by focusing more on like, okay, what is your life mission? What do you want to see the world become? Once you're done.
Yeah, we just did a podcast with somebody about legacy, and so that's interesting. You're kind of talking about that as well, like a legacy. What do you want people to remember you for?
Yeah.
Besides American Idol.
Yeah, true.
Well, you've got a great start, it sounds like, for sure.
You do.
Thank you.
So for people that are listening that want to find a lot of other ways to interact with you, what are some platforms people can communicate or get more of your motivational messages?
Sure. So the main platform I use the most right now is Instagram, at williamhung.co. And then on there, you see the link to my link tree. And then in the link tree, you see all my my book, my TED Talk, and everything else that you want to see, my cameos. And then I'm also on Clubhouse. So those are the two main platforms I spend the most time on.
Oh, okay. You just gave me this other thing, like TED Talk. I didn't know. When did you do your TED Talk? That's fascinating.
Yes, I did 2 Tedx Talks, one in 2018 and one in 2019. One of them was in Los Angeles and the other was in San Diego. So yeah, you can definitely find them on YouTube. It was fun. I think the second one was better than the first one, a lot better, because I feel like once I got the experience, I feel like I enjoy myself more on the stage.
Well, we want to thank you so much for, just sharing your life with us and like giving us an idea of how someone could go from the craziness of Hollywood and American Idol experience to someone who's mission oriented and trying to change people's lives.
Yeah, William, we are very humbled and honored that you chose to talk with us today. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Fitz Rock Podcast. The music you are hearing is Swim with Wild Musical Instruments by Your My Muse. Copyright 2019 and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial License. Until next time, have a fantastic life.